Hello everyone, welcome to Module 4, Lesson 2 on Simplifying Radicals. We need to recall this one, okay, the perfect squares, the perfect cubes, the perfect fourth root, and so on, okay? Why do we need this? Because you are going to make use of this in simplifying radicals. So, if I were you, you must have a copy of this one, alright? Okay, so how do we know that the radicals is in simplified form? Here are some conditions. First is that the radicand has no factor that is a power of n if the index of the radical is n. Okay, medyo ang hirap intindihin, no? Okay, you'll know better when we get to the examples later. Okay? Next is the radicand does not contain a fraction. So, bawal po yung fraction dun sa terms inside the radical or the radicand, in the radicand. So, the denominator of a rational expression does not contain a radical. Wala siya dapat sa denominator. The index of the radical is in its lowest possible form. So, yun. Pag wala siyang na-violate under these three conditions, then the radical is in its simplified form. Okay, so how do we simplify radicals? Ito yon. Meron pa tayong isa na kailangan natin gamitin bukod sa dun sa perfect squares, perfect cubes, meron pa. And ito yung tinatawag nating laws of radicals. Okay, first law is, ito yon. Okay, so nth root of a to the n is equal to a when a is greater than or equal to 0. So, nth root of a to the n is equal to the absolute value of a when a is less than 0. Okay, nth root of a to the n is equal to a. Okay, so that's the first law. Medyo hindi siya masyadong madali intindihin pag nakaganto pa siya na symbol lang muna. So, mas madali siya pag ginamit na natin in simplifying radicals. Law number 2. So, pag merong dalawang variables inside the radical or the radicand, pwede natin siyang paghiwalayin. Okay? So, parang nag-factor lang tayo. Okay? Next is, yung sa denominator, pwede rin natin siyang paghiwalayin. Just like sa law number 2, multiplication lang yung number 2, pero yung number 3 is division. Pero same sila, paghiwalayin lang. Then, the last one is, the mth root to the nth root of a is equal to the m times nth root of a. Okay, paano ba gamitin yan? Let's proceed with the examples. So, here is example number 1. Okay, the square root of 27. So, basically, 27 is not a perfect square. So, wala siyang perfect na square root. So, kailangan natin i-factor siya, i-simplify siya. So, the first step is to factor the radicand. Paano ba mag-factor? Pag nag-factor ka, you have to see to it na yung factor mo is nasa list ng ating perfect squares. Yun. Paano gamitin tong table na to? Okay, ganito. 27 ang number natin. So, more or less, yung 27 is, wait lang, more or less, yung 27 is dito lang siya. Yan. So, dun ka humanap ng makakapag-divide sa 27 mo. Okay? Para sure ka na yung isa sa mga factors mo is nasa perfect square na table. Okay? So, of course, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung 25. Hindi kayang ma-divide ng 27 ng 25. Hindi rin siya pwede sa 16. Okay? So, of course, 9 lang yung pwede. And 27, I mean, divided by 9, wait lang. Paano ba yan? Wait lang ha. Nagkakalat na naman ako. Okay? Okay. So, ganito. So, yung 27, yan. Divide mo siya sa 9, meron kang 3. So, magiging factors mo rito is 9. Ito, yung kinuha mo dito. Tapos, yung sagot dito. Okay? So, yung sagot dyan is 3. So, yung factors mo ngayon is 9 and 3. Kailangan iuna mo yung factor na kinuha mo from the table. Bakit kailangan siyang mauna? Kasi, applying the second law, in which pwede natin silang paghiwalayin. Pag naghiwalay ng mga yan, etong 9 is a perfect square. And the square root of 9 is 3. Yun. So, kunan mo siya ng square root, tapos si 3, kasi hindi naman siya perfect square. So, nandyan lang si 3. So, ito na yung final na sagot. Yan. Another example is the square root of 72a cubed b to the 6th. So, first step is to factor the radicand. So, here, we will prepare two sets of parentheses, just like what you did with your quadratic equation. Prepare two sets of parentheses to put up your factors. And how are we going to factor this? Let's start with the 72, of course. To factor 72, of course, we need the perfect square table. Okay? So here, since it's 72, so it must be here, up. Okay? So we will choose a number that could divide 72 starting with 64, cannot be, 49, so we have 36. So 72 divided by 36 is 2. So that must be 36. We will put 36 here. And then here will be the 2. Okay, so that means 36 times 2 is 72. And then for a cube, what we're going to do is, let's try to look at our index. So there's no index present, so meaning there is an invisible 2 here. Okay, so if we have an exponent of a as 3, so there is 1, 2 for that. So we'll put here the 2, isang squared lang. Okay, to make it a cube, syempre, andito yung isa. Okay, bakit naging ganyan? Paano nangyari yan? Ginamit natin tong index na to. Kung ilang 2 ba? Or pwede din, divide mo lang. 3 divided by 3 yung exponent. 3 divided by 2, merong 1. So, dito yung isa, a squared. Tapos, ito yung remainder mo. So, bali, 2 plus 1 is 3. So, ganun din. Then, for p to the 6th, divide mo siya. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So, here, b to the 6th, dito mo na ilagay, wala kasing remainder. Okay? So, kasi b to the 6 na siya, so wala nang b on the other side kasi wala siyang remainder. So, eto na yung magiging factors mo. Tingnan nga natin. Okay, yan, di ba? So, 36, a squared, b to the 6th, tapos yung mga hindi perfect square. Ngayon, gamitin mo na yung loss for radicals na number 2. Separate mo lang. Okay? Tapos, etong mga to, i-simplify mo na. Paano pag-simplify? The square root of 36 is 6. Yan. Tapos, yung a, i-divide mo lang siya dito. So, yung exponent. So, a, lagay ka muna ng base na a. Yan. Tapos, divide mo siya. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, wala ka ng exponent sa a. Sa b naman, lagay mo siya. Okay? So, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So, dito, yan. Okay. So, eto kasi hindi siya perfect. Ito yung mga, kumbaga pa, sobra lang dun sa factors natin. I-copy mo lang siya. So, bale, square root of 2a. Okay, yan. Tingnan nga natin kung yan ba yung sagot. Yan. Okay? Isa pa, para mas malinaw. Okay, so ito, 24. Ganun din, factor the radicand. Cube root kasi, so kailangan natin ng table of perfect cubes. Yun. So, hanapin mo si 24. So, more or less, dito lang siya sa 8. So, divide mo. Kaya naman. 24 divided by 8 is 24 divided by 8 is 3. So, meron kang 8 and 3 as factors. Yun. Okay, ngayon, ganun din, apply the product rule, which is, separate mo sila. So, cube root of 8. Saan mo hahanapin yan? Magsisimplify ka na. Diba dito ka, ginamit mo siya. Ito. So, yung sagot mo naman is ito, yung 2. Okay? So, copy mo yung 2. Tapos, ito, kasi hindi siya perfect, copy mo lang siya. Okay? Cube root of 3. Yan. So, yan na yung final na sagot. Okay? So, another example. Okay? So, when you factor out the radicand, ganito yung pinaka-technique, pinaka-tip ko sa inyo. Pag yung radicand nyo is a combination of number, tapos variable, constant, and variable, so kailangan mo mag-create ng dalawang set ng parentheses. Tapos, yung first set, dapat dun mo ilagay yung mga perfect. Tapos yung sa second set, yung mga sobra lang. Okay? So, ngayon, try muna nating i-factor out yung number. Yung 162, tapos, nasa cube root tayo. So, gamitin natin yung perfect cube. Ngayon, sa perfect cube, dito lang muna tayo sa 125. So, of course, hindi yan kaya. 162 divided by 125, hindi pwede. Try nyo sa 64. Pwede ba? Hindi rin yan pwede. So, how about 27? Okay, so 27. Ano yung sagot? 27. 162 divided by 27 is 6. Yan. Lagay nyo yung 6 dito. Okay? Ngayon naman, dito sa B, okay, yung B, i-divide nyo, B to the 4th, or 4 divided by 3, meron tayong 1. So, maglagay ka dito ng B cube. Okay, kasi, nasa cube root tayo, B cube, tapos, syempre, kasi may sobra siya, lagay mo yung sobra dito sa kabila. So, yung factors mo are cube root of 27b cube and then 6b. Ngayon, apply mo na yung laws ng radical. Okay, product rule. So, dito ka. Ito muna. Separate mo. Okay. Tapos, pagka-simplify, gamitin mo tong 27. Yung 27 is, ito yung 27. So, yung magiging sagot mo is the 3. So, you are going to have 3. Tapos, yung sa B, i-copy mo lang muna si B. Copy. Tapos, divide mo. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So, 1 lang. Tapos, ito na yon, copy mo na siya. Itong hindi perfect. Yung pangalawa mong factors. Okay? So, yung final mong sagot is 3b and cube root of 6b. Check nga natin. Yun. Okay? Isa pa, paano naman kung fourth root? Of course, when you factor out the radicand, dun ka naman sa fourth root na table. Okay? So, 176. Dito lang yan sa 81. Ano kaya ang pwedeng ma-divide natin sa 176? 16? Check nga natin. Okay, 16 and 11. Kasi when you divide 176 divided by 16, 11 yung sagot. Separate mo siya using the product rule. Okay, then simplify. Yung 16 ay nasa 2. So, 2. Ito yon, palitan mo na to ng 2. Tapos, i-copy mo lang ito. So, yung magiging sagot mo will be 2, 4th root of 11. Ganun kadali. Ito naman, so 5th root naman tayo. So, factoring out the radicands. So, we're going to get the perfect 5th root. So, 128, nasa 32 lang siya. So, kayang ma-divide ba yung 128 ng 32? Okay, check nga natin. Okay, so 32 and 4. Uy! Nakalimutan natin gumawa ng 2 sets ng parentheses. Sorry. Okay, combination pala siya ng number tsaka variable. So, ito yun. Bali, 32 yung ginamit natin. When we divide 128 by 32, yung sagot niya is 4. So, sa kabila yung sagot. Yan. Tapos, yung M, kasi nasa 5th root ka, so, isang 5 na exponent ng M. Tapos, kasi 8 siya, so kulang siya ng 3. Lagay mo yung 3 doon sa kabilang factor. Okay? So, yan. Okay? Diyan galing yung factor na yan. Okay? Tapos, apply ka na ng law. Separate mo silang dalawa. Tapos, eto, evaluate mo siya sa 32. 2 yung sagot. So, lagay ka na ng 2. Okay. Tapos, sa M, copy mo yung M. And then, you divide 5. Divided by 5 is 1. So, okay na yan. Tapos, copy mo na to lahat. And then, you're going to have a final answer of 2M, 5th root of 4M cubed. Ganon. Okay. Yung next example natin is, yung halimbawa nito is, hindi, yung ano kasi natin, yung exponent natin inside, tsaka yung index natin is, pag binalik natin siya sa fraction, sa rational exponent is, parang kaya nating ma-reduce. So, this is reducing index to the lowest level. Okay? So, pag nakita mo na ganyan, sa loob, over sa labas is kaya namang ma-divide. So, ito yung process mo. Okay? Una, transpose mo muna siya into radical form. So, that must be 9 raised to 5 over 10. Okay? Tapos, yung 5 over 10 mo, yan, it's very clear, na kaya mo siyang i-reduce. Okay? So, reduce the fraction to lowest term or the rational exponent. So, 5 over 10 is definitely equal to 1/2. Okay? So, magiging exponent mo na ngayon is 1/2. And then, bumalik ka sa radical. Write it again into radical form. So, magiging square root of 9 siya. Ngayon, alam mo naman na the square root of 9 is 3. So, pag simplify mo, the final answer is 3. Yun. Isa pa. Okay? Ganun din. Transfer ka. Kasi ito, pag nakita mo siya, 12 over 18, hala, divisible by 2, so kaya siyang ma-reduce to lowest term. So, balik ka muna sa exponential form. So, ito yon. So, yung 12 over 18, reduce mo to lowest term, and that must be divisible by 6 yata pareho. So, that must be 2 over 9. Ay, 2 over 3 pala. San ko ba kinuha yung 9? Okay, pagkatapos, balik ka na sa radical. Yung exponent, yung index mo will be 3, tapos yan. So, yan na yung pinaka-sagot. Okay? Alright, so isa pang example. So, dito, kung makikita natin, dito tayo sa mga variables natin, na yung exponent nila is magiging 15 over 20 na divisible by 5. Yung 5 naman dito sa n, over 20 pa din, divisible by 5. So, parang marireduce natin siya. So, yung problema na lang natin is yung 32. Yung 32, di ba, kaya naman siyang i-change into exponential form? Kaya ba? How about yung base ko is 2? So, if I'm going to have 2 to the 5th, will it be equal to 32? 32 ba yan? 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16 times 2 is 32. Yun. So, change mo muna siya bago ang lahat. So, yan. 2 to the 5th. Yan na yung magiging form niya. Tapos, saka ka bumalik dun sa exponential form. So, ito na yun. Okay? Pagkatapos, reduce mo siya to lowest term. Anong nangyayari dito? Hindi mo na nag-reduce to lowest term. Ang ginawa is, nag-multiply mo na applying the law on power to power. Okay? So, 5 over 20, 15 over 20, 5 over 20 is reducible to lowest term. Yung lowest term natin ng 5 over 20 is 1/4. Yung lowest term naman ng 15 over 20 is 3/4, tsaka 1/4. So, eto na yon. Okay, so as you could see, common denominator nila yung 4, so pwede ka nang bumalik dun sa radical form. So, yung magiging index mo is yung denominator na 4. So, yan. Okay, so simplified na siya. Okay. Okay, eto kaya. Paano pag-solve? Hala, ang daming radicals. Okay? Paano kaya? Okay, yung ipapakita ko sa inyo are two ways. So, una, ito munang sa book na ginamit nila. So, ito, write in radical form. So, magiging ganito. Tapos, apply mo yung law of power to a power wherein we need to multiply the exponents. So, that's 1 times 1, 1, 3 times 4, 12. So, 1 over 12 na yung exponent. Then, balik ka na sa radical form. Okay? So, yung radical form niya is 12th root of 5. Okay. May mas madaling step. Ano yung mas madaling step? Gamitin mo si law of radical number 4. Anong sabi niya? All you need to do is to multiply the indices. Yun, sabi niya, multiply the indices. So, pagka-multiply mo ng 4 times 3, it's 12. So, lalabas ngayon yung 12 na index dito. Tapos, copy mo na yung radical na 5. So, yung sagot, pareho din. 12th root of 5. Pinakamadali na yon. Okay? Okay, so here's another example. So, sige nga, apply natin yung law of radical number natin, law number 4. So, ano ba yung mga exponents natin, indices natin? So, meron tayong 4, meron tayong 3, tapos, kasi tatlong radical siya, so meron din tayo ditong 2. Ayan, merong 2, invisible yung 2. Okay, so multiply natin silang lahat. 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. So, yung index natin will be 24. Yan. Tapos, gawa na tayo ng ating yan. Tapos, copy natin si radical. Okay? Check natin if tama yung sagot kung mag-undergo tayo ng process na ginamit sa book without applying the radical law. Okay? So, unang gagawin daw is to transform into exponential form. Pag nag-transform ka, dito ka lang magsimula ka sa pinakauna. So, di ba yung pinakauna natin is 7 raised to 1/2. Di ba? Okay. Tapos, mag-parenthesis ka kasi it's being raised into another power na 1, not 3. So, that's another raised to 1/3. Yan. Isa pa, kasi naka-raise pa din siya, bracket na gamitin mo. Okay? So, 1/4. Okay. Ngayon, applying the law, so So, yan ba? Wait. Tingnan nga natin kung sakto ba yung mga pinagagawa natin. Erase muna natin siya. Okay? Ayan, di ba? Sakto lang. Okay? Just applying the law, all we need to do is to multiply the exponents. So, that's 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6 times 4 is 24. So, meron tayong 1 over 24. So, pagbalik natin yung radical form, nakuha din natin yung sagot dito. Okay? So, nakuha din natin yung parehong sagot na ginamit natin in one step. Okay? So, ano ba yung madali? Undergoing transforming o diretso ka na gamit yung law of radical number 2. Number 4. Okay? So, kaya nang humusga. Isa pa. Paano naman kag ganito? Diba sabi, yung last condition natin kanina, bawal daw yung radical, banned yung radical in the denominator. May ano siya, may denominator siya. So, hindi siya simplified pag ganito. Kasi, tandaan na bawal talaga yung mga radical signs in the denominator. So, meron tayong process kung paano gagawin. Paano natin tatanggalin yan. Okay? So, the process is rationalizing the denominator. Paano yan? Wait, ano ba yung sinasabing rationalization muna? Okay? So, rationalization is the process of removing the radical sign in the denominator. Paano ma-remove? Okay? Ito yung gagawin. So, kailangan mo mag-multiply both numerators sa taas, tapos sa baba din, parehong number na makakatanggal ng radical sign ng given mo. So, here, kasi meron tayong square root of 3, pag nagdagdag tayo ng isa pang square root of 3, di magiging 3 times 3, 9. Perfect square na, diba? So, here, yan. Multiply natin sa numerator, tsaka sa denominator. Bakit 3? Kasi pag nag-multiply tayo, 3 times 3, 9. 9, the square root of 9, I mean, is 3. So, tanggal. Matatanggal siya. So, pero, perform ka muna ng operation. So, 2 times square root of 3, hindi yan 6 ha. Careful, hindi yan 6. Kasi wala siyang radical. Tapos siya meron, so hindi siya pwedeng i-multiply natin. Instead, itabi lang natin sila. So, lagay lang natin 2 square root of 3. Yan. Tapos, multiply mo din yung sa denominator. So, square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. Okay. So, ngayon, yung square root of 9 is 3. So, yung final na sagot mo is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, careful. Baka i-cancel out mo tong square root of 3 tsaka 3 kasi pareho sila up and down. Hindi pwedeng mag-cancel kasi siya meron siyang parang sombrero, may hat. Ito, siya wala. Hindi pwede. Okay? Bawal i-cancel out yan. So, ito na yung pinakasagot. Okay? Tanggalin natin para mas malinaw. Yan. Okay. So, diba? 2 square root of 3 over 3. Isa pa. Ito ngayon, ma'am, wala namang nakalagay na denominator sa baba. Diba sabi, bawal ang fraction in the radicand. I-fraction tong x to the 5th over 2. So, ganun din. Rationalize the denominator. So, paano pag-rationalize? Kasi square root siya. Wait. Kasi square root siya. So, kailangan mo ng square root din. Mag-multiply ka ng square root. Focus ka dito sa 2 mo. So, kung mag-multiply ka ng isa pang square root of 2, 2 times 2 is 4, which is a perfect square. So, matatanggalan mo siya ng radical sign. So, yon. Multiply both sides by square root of 2 over 2. So, itong dalawa sa numerator times numerator will be, kasi pareho silang may radical symbol. So, lagay nyo lang siya as 1. Tapos, lagay mo ng 2. And then x, parang nag-multiply ka lang ng 2 times x to the 5th. Okay, yan. Tapos, dito, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, yan. Pagkatapos, of course, kailangan mong mag-simplify. So, square root of 4, eto, di ba, x to the 5th. Yung x to the 5th mo, kung balikan mo yung mga previous natin na simplifying, yung mga previous examples natin, si x to the 5th, hindi siya simplified. Bakit? Kasi, pwede mo pa siyang i-factor out. Ano yung factors niya? Okay, wait lang ha. Dito muna tayo sa as. Okay, ano yung factors niya? 'Di ba, yung 2, kasi hindi naman siya perfect, lagay natin sa second. Yan. Yung x to the 5th, lagay natin yung isa dito. Okay, so, meron akong unang factor na x to the 4th. Bakit 4 ang ginamit ko? Kasi yung index ko is 2. So, 'di ba dapat 2, 4. So, kaya sa 4. Pero may sobra akong isa pang x. So, lagay ko siya dito sa second. So, ito yung factor ng aking numerator. Okay, ngayon, kung nasa radical yan, separate mo siya, yung x to the 4th, divide mo lang, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So, x squared yung dito. X squared, lalabas yung x squared. Tapos, ika-copy mo lang to, yung 2x. So, x squared square root of 2x, yan, over, yung square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so yan. Ito na yung final answer. Tingnan nga natin. Okay, yan. Diyan galing yan. Okay. I hope clear sa inyo. Kung hindi, pwede nyo balik-balikan yung video para mas clear. Okay? Ito naman, paano pag cube root? How do we eliminate the denominator kung cube root? Same yung process, rationalization din. Kaso lang, hindi pwedeng yung i-multiply mo is ito lang. Kasi pag nag-multiply ka, say, 3x, kasi focus natin denominator ha, times 3x times 3x. Diba? 3 times 3 is 9. 9. Tapos, x times x is x squared. Ngayon, ang index mo is 3. So, hindi mo siya kayang ma-remove pag ganyan. Kasi, yung 9, wala naman siya sa perfect cube natin. So, hindi pwede yung 3 times 3 lang. Instead, itong sagot mo, siya yung magiging multiplier mo, both numerator and denominator. Okay? So, ito yun. Okay, wait lang. Tanggalin muna natin. Okay, so dyan galing yung 9x squared ha. Okay. Alright, so here. So, eto na. So, pagka-multiply mo dun sa sa numerator natin, multiply na kasi yung next step. So, you're going to have 2 times 9 is 18. Tapos, copy mo lang yung x squared. So, cube root of 18x squared. Tapos, yung baba is 3 times 9 is 27. Tapos, x times x squared is x cubed. Ngayon, etong 27, wait lang, etong denominator natin na 27x cubed, perfect na ngayon. So, ano ba yung cube root ng 27? 3. Okay, so, it's 3. Eto naman, sa x naman, copy mo lang muna yung x. And then you divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So, yung magiging denominator mo will be 3x. Okay? So, yung pinaka-simplified form mo ngayon is cube root of 18x squared over 3x. Yon, ganun ang pag-simplify kapag, pag-rationalize, I mean, kapag cube root siya. Okay? Okay, so ito nang pinaka-aasam-asam nyo. Okay, so practice, pero activity na siya, asynchronous activity. So simplify the following radicals. Make sure to show your solutions. Alright? Yan. So that's all for this video. Bye-bye everyone. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.